If you're a business educational creator or just someone who wants to get into the info space and you've yet to hit 30K a month, I want you to clear out your calendar for the next 5 to 10 minutes because I want to explain to you this extremely simple concept and analogy that involves bodybuilding that will clear up all your doubts about what you should be doing in your business right now and how you can get to that point. So this just involves a few key concepts that I'm going to show you right now. The first thing I want you to understand is that the idea of you going from skinny to absolutely jacked is exactly parallel to you going from having zero money, having no business, to having a successful business that's generating you over $30,000 a month in cash flow. And it's because they both have factors that will decide how fast you get from your current state to your desired state. So with your training, you would have your diet, your eating plan, your sleep, the training program you're on, where you decided to work out, tracking your progress, what kind of coaching or who you have in your corner, your recovery, supplements, etc. And the factors that would help you succeed in business, specifically in the info space, your analytics, your sales funnel, your marketing funnel, your content strategy, what your long-term plan is, and what the nature of the product you're selling is. And so this is exactly what we all want to achieve, right? A consistent growth in MRR over time, but the time you input into the business stays the same. And so how this relates to bodybuilding is that a lot of people try to focus on tiny things that are very insignificant before just getting the bulk that they need to get their business off the ground. So when you try just to cut from like a tiny pebble before you've gained any size and you want to focus on little striations and this muscle popping out, or oh, I don't look good with, my triceps don't look good, what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to have an inconsistent MRR over time, and the time you spent is also going to be inconsistent. So the solution is to put on the size first, to get this kind of get these core leveraged activities first so that you have the space to build on it, right? And so in bodybuilding, what that would look like is just getting down your sleep, getting down a good diet plan, a good training plan, getting to work for 6 months, 2 years, whatever it may be, to put on that bit of size. Then you can go about customizing it, you can go on a cut, you can, and that's when, you really start to slim down and see all the work you have. But in the beginning, you need to focus on just gaining the size. You have to put on a good amount of size before focusing on these little things, these aesthetics, trying to chisel down. And you can only achieve this process through levers. The concept of levers is easily the most important thing you need to know if you want to be putting your time towards the best thing you can be putting it towards. So this means acknowledging that you only have X amount of deep work hours available in any week, day, or month. And let's say you really only have around 4 hours every day. For some, it may be a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, that you can actually get deep, focused work. You can work for 12 hours, but at the end of the day, you won't be able to use your full creative output in it. It will just be repetitive tasks. And so understanding that, you have to put that time into things that require the least effort but yield the most results. And that is the exact concept of leverage. And this is your HLA, highest leverage activities, which is a super important concept. Okay, moving on. So how do you apply this if you're trying to go from 0 to 30K a month? So at this stage, the only thing you should be focusing on is your prerequisites. And so this will go into 4 stages, right? Creating your offer, right? Finding, other creators that are doing similar, taking inspiration from them, putting down your offer, your audience's pain points, your market research, all of that, right? And what kind of transformation you want to take your ideal customer through, right? So if I'm selling a bodybuilding program, I first want to get them to cut down to a good body weight. Then I want to get them to gain 15 pounds of muscle. Then I want to do a mini cut. Then I want to change up the diet plan, and so on. And once you understand really what your offer is, what you're trying to sell, who you want to target, only then will you have a perfect content strategy, right? And then you want to get the core infrastructure of your business down. This means setting up your booking calendar, your CRM, some basic automations, just so when someone does come down the funnel, there's a place for them to go where they can book a call, where they can buy, right? And all of this is just available through templates. It shouldn't take you any time to set all this up, and I'm going to be releasing all of them in the next video, right? And then this part only takes about 5 minutes, but this is where a lot of people spend 10 times more time than they should have, and they do it completely wrong. You need to set a good bio, a good profile picture, which only takes 5 minutes, and then you want to set up some quick profile view ads just so you have people coming to your profile, right? And then you need to set up a basic setting and sales system with some inbound DM frameworks, meaning if someone DMs you after seeing a piece of your content, you know how to respond to them and you know how to get them on a call, right? And the outbound DM frameworks, meaning these leads are a little bit more warm, right? So they followed you or they interacted with your reel, and you would reach out to them personally and try to set them on a call from there. So these are all the things you need to set up first as a prerequisite before going all out on your marketing, your sales. This will tell you what kind of content you need to make. This will tell you how to sell them, and this will tell you everything you need to know. If you skip these, you will end up with this down the line: leaky sales funnel, and you will have extreme difficulty pinpointing where the little leaks are coming from, right? So after all these are nailed down at an extremely basic level, again, this is where a lot of people go wrong, right? They'll spend weeks and weeks on weeks on these little tiny things that are meant to be done, in a couple days, in a couple hours, right? But after those are nailed down, only then should you be shifting your focus towards your client acquisition, right? That will serve as a foundation for your personal brand and your business, right? So think of all these prerequisites in the bodybuilding parallel, right? Think of them as choosing what kind of lifting style, setting your goals, what kind of workout plan you're going to go for, dialing in your meal plan, seeing how much calories you need to eat, setting up your calorie surplus. All of it is very essential, but that is not to say that you should not hit a single workout until, everything is perfect, right? And so that will serve as the foundation for your personal brand. And taking the time to correctly set up the infrastructure for your business will help you in the long term watch over your business like a CEO from a bird's eye view instead of, being on the ground doing all these repetitive tasks, right? It will help you be able to pinpoint issues in the future. It will take away you doing all these manual repetitive tasks so you can focus on whatever the next highest leverage activity is. And this should not take more than a week. It will serve as the foundation for your personal brand, right? So setting those up will be your highest leverage activities for the first 1 to 2 weeks, right? And this is an example of an extremely simple content ecosystem, sales funnel, whatever you want to call it, right? You pick one platform, right? You don't be trying to dance around. YouTube is easily the best platform to start out with, right? YouTube to a booking page. You make informative, valuable, insightful YouTube videos. Redirect to a booking page, right? And either from the booking page, you sell them into whatever your product is, or you hit them with more follow-ups, schedule more calls until they buy the product. And obviously, it's more complicated than that, but this is a very high-level overview, and there are hundreds of people who are doing 30, 40, 50K plus. An example is William Brown. He's only has like 50,000 subscribers on YouTube, and with this simple system, he's making over 300K a month with his consulting business. So, if the foundation of your business is not built, all of the following are just a waste of time, and this is where people really get stuck not knowing what to do, why their strategies are not working, just because they're just spending all their time on this very insignificant stuff, right? over investing in their branding, trying to design logos and stuff and perfect their pages and their funnels, buying unnecessary tools and subscriptions that you do not need at all. There's thousands of SaaS that you'll see people recommending just because they want you to use their referral code so they can get paid for it. They're just going to try to shove up all this. You'll see ads for it. You just don't need any of it, right? Trying to perfect your product or your content instead of just building as you sell, right? So you shouldn't be not posting just because you want your product to be perfect, right? Over planning and strategizing instead of just doing the work. After this, your next highest leverage activity should just be experimenting with your content to see what works and trying to make insightful content that directly penetrates into your ideal customers, right? Focusing on vanity metrics like how much followers you have, what the like count is on your videos, it's extremely insignificant, and it just does not matter at all. Because if you make content to go viral, you're just making content for everyone. And if you make content for everyone, you're making content for no one, and you're not going to sell anyone either, right? Trying to create complicated sales funnels is another example. Like I said, there's people doing $300,000 with this just because they know exactly what their ideal client's pains are, what their desires are, etc., right? So as long as you have the solution to your audience's problems, they will tell you exactly how to market to them and how to sell them through their engagement, through directly telling you, and etc.